Nothing makes people show you who they really are faster than being happy for no reason. The second your joy doesn't depend on them, you find out exactly how they feel about you. Some people can handle you being sad, but what they can't handle is you being happy. Watch what happens the next time you're happy around the wrong person. They will do everything they can to bring you back down. And once you know why, you'll never miss the signs again. There's something most people never figured out about the ones who do this. A lot of people walk into a space fully expecting their mood to set the temperature for everyone else around them. If they're miserable, everybody around them is supposed to get quiet and careful. If they're irritated, the whole environment is supposed to tense up with them. They've spent their entire lives being the emotional thermostat everybody else adjusts to, and a lot of them know exactly what they're doing. So when you come in at peace and you don't sink down to match them, you just took away their power to control how everybody around them feels, and they can't stand it. And there's a reason your peace and joy throws them off this much. People naturally feed off each other's emotions. When you're around people, everybody is unconsciously syncing up to the same emotional wavelength, matching the mood around them without even trying to. So when one person doesn't sync up, when you stay light and everybody else is heavy, you register as out of rhythm with the group. That's why a happy person can get strange looks for no reason, and why a calm person can come across as somehow off. And the people who are controlling feel that little bit of discomfort, and everybody's picking up on it, and they use it. They take that natural friction and they weaponize it, treating you like you're the problem for not falling into step with everybody else's mood. Make sure you subscribe, because I'm about to tell you exactly how these people operate. It starts small. It's the heavy sigh from across the way that they want you to hear. It's the one word answers designed to bait you into asking what's wrong. It's the door that gets shut a little harder than it needs to. The dramatic moping done right in your line of sight. All of it engineered to pull your attention toward their mood. And they're waiting for you to take the bait, because the second you ask what's wrong, you've handed them exactly what they're fishing for. But here's what happens when you don't take it. When you stay pleasant and unbothered and you don't rush to fix their feelings, they don't just let it go. They escalate. They sigh louder, the attitude gets more obvious, and when moping still isn't pulling you in, a lot of them will flip straight to starting something, picking a fight over nothing, finding a reason to be upset with you specifically, because at that point, negative attention is still attention, and getting a rise out of you still counts as winning. Once you see that an argument out of nowhere is just the last rung on that ladder, you can never unsee it. There's also something happening with the fact that they can't figure out why you're happy, and it eats at them. The human brain assumes happiness has a reason behind it. So when somebody sees you content and they can't identify the cause, they don't experience it as neutral. They feel like you're keeping a secret from them. Your peace starts to feel like something you're hoarding, like there's some good news or some advantage you're deliberately holding back. And people get resentful about being shut out of it. And a lot of people simply do not trust happiness they can't explain. If you're unbothered and everybody around you is stressed and grinding and complaining, they start to assume your peace has to be fake. They'll decide you're putting on a front, or that you're naive and just don't understand how hard everything is supposed to be, or that you're hiding some mess behind the smile, because in their mind, anybody who's really paying attention should be as miserable as they are. So they'll watch you a little closer, waiting for you to slip, waiting for the moment that proves that the joy was an act the whole time. And they'll poke at it too with little comments meant to test whether your happiness is real or whether they can knock you off your square. But the deepest reason is your peace makes them feel the absence of their own. When somebody is around real contentment, it holds up a mirror to everything missing in their own life. And that's an uncomfortable thing to feel. Most people are not going to sit in that discomfort and ask themselves why somebody else has a peace they don't. It's so much easier to decide that something is wrong with you instead. And this is the point where it turns, because once your peace becomes a reminder of what they lack, some of them start rooting for you to fail. They want to see the happiness crack. They want proof that you don't really have it together, because you being fine while they're struggling feels personal to them, even though it has nothing to do with them at all. Years ago, I had a female department head who was one of those people whose whole identity was her job title. And outside of that position, she didn't have the kind of power she wanted. She controlled the entire mood of our department with her attitude, and it was miserable. I was one of the few people willing to challenge her and blow her off, because I wasn't dealing with it, and I caught a whole lot of trouble for it. But that's just how it goes when you have a bad boss and you march to the beat of your own drum. So this same woman liked to keep the lights turned low over our section. We shared a big building with other departments, split up by dividers, and she'd keep the lights off above us. I'll be honest, I didn't mind working in the dark because it was relaxing to me. But one day she had them off saying she had a terrible migraine, and one of the head honchos walked through and asked why the lights were off. She goes, "I have a terrible migraine, sir." And this man said, "Oh, well," and flipped every light on and kept it moving, did not care one bit. And I loved that for her because she was trying to control the whole environment around how she felt. And he came through and shut it down. Take some medicine for your migraine. This is a professional environment. And I've watched this exact thing in every setting you can name, at jobs, in the military, in my previous relationship, in the home I grew up in, family, friends. Somebody would have an issue with something that had nothing to do with me. And then all of a sudden, they'd flip a switch and start misdirecting all of it at me, picking a fight out of nowhere. And I'm standing there like, where's all this smoke coming from? And why are you trying to pull me into it? I even had it happen on a trip once where the woman leading the group started throwing digs at everybody because she was irritated about something that happened earlier with somebody else entirely. So I'm telling you, for the sake of your peace, you are not anybody's therapist and you are not anybody's babysitter. Regulating a grown adult's emotions is not your responsibility, and dimming your own light so somebody else feels less alone in their misery is not a favor you owe. I am a full advocate for gray rocking somebody into oblivion. Stonewall them. I cannot be bothered to go back and forth and go out of my way to figure out what's wrong with a grown person. I reserve that level of patience for children, not for adults who should be regulating their own emotions. So when you notice somebody moping harder, the happier you stay. When you feel yourself getting pulled toward managing a mood that isn't yours, that's your signal to step back. You don't have to argue with them and you don't have to fix them. You keep your peace and you keep your distance and you let them figure out their own emotional life on their own time, because your happiness was never the problem here. What they're reacting to is you refusing to let somebody else's misery run your life. And that's not something you should ever apologize for. I really want to hear from you on this. Have you ever had somebody get worse the calmer you stayed, like your peace was offending them somehow? And what did they do to try to pull you into it? Tell me about it down below. Share this, like it, and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Take care.